History of Magna Carta of Women. Ang Magna Carta of Women or MCW ay isang komprehensibong batas sa karapatang pantao ng mga kababaihan na naglalayong alisin ang diskriminasyon sa pamamagitan ng pagkikilala, proteksyon, pagtupad at pagtataguyod ng mga karapatan ng kababaihang Pilipino, lalo na yaong kabilang sa mga marginalized na sektor ng lipunan. Kabilang ang anumang gawa ng karahasan na nakabatay sa kasarian na nagreresulta o malamang na magresulta sa pisikal, sexual o psikolohikal na pananakit o pagdurusa sa kababaihan, kabilang ang mga banta ng mga naturang gawain, pamimilit o atriprayong pag-agaw ng kalayaan, mangyari man sa publiko o sa pribadong buhay. Introduction of Magna Carta of Women or Republic Act No. 9710. Ito ang lokal na pagsasalin ng mga probisyon ng konvensyon sa pag-alis ng mga anyo ng diskriminasyon laban sa kababaihan o SIDO, lalo na sa pagtukoy ng diskriminasyon sa kasarian, mga obligasyon ng Estado, matibay na pagkapantay-pantay at pansamantalang mga espesyal na hakbang. Kinikilala din nito ang mga karapatang pantao na ginagarantiyahan ng mga International Convention on Economic, Social and Cultural Rights o ICESCR. Chapter 1, General Provision. So, Section 1 is title. So, yung title namin is Magna Carta of Women in Philippines or Republic Act 9710. Then, Section 2, Declaration of Policy. Pagpapakilala na ang mga realidad sa ekonomiya, politika at sosyo-kultural ay nakakaapekto sa kasalukuyang kalagayan ng mga kababaihan. Then, Section 3 is Principles of Human Rights of Women. Dito is ang mga karapatang pantao ay pangkalahatan at hindi mayaalis lahat ng tao sa mundo ay may karapatan sa kanila. Chapter 2, Definitions of Terms. Section 4, Definitions. Una dyan is Woman Empowerment. Yung woman empowerment ay tumutukoy sa probisyon, pagkakaroon at accessibility ng mga pagkakataon, serbisyo at pagtalima ng mga karapatang pantao na nagbibigay daan sa mga kababaihan na aktibong lumahok at mag-ambag sa pampolitika, ekonomiya, panlipunan at kultural na pag-unlad ng bansa, pati na rin yung mga nagbibigay sa kanila ng pantay na pag-access sa pagmamay-ari, pamamahala at kontrol produksyon at ng material at impormasyong mapagkukunan at benepisyo sa pamilya, komunidad at lipunan. And discrimination against women. Ito naman ay tumutukoy sa anumang batayan sa kasarian, pagkakaiba, pagbubukod o paghihigpit ng may epekto o layunin na bawasan o pawalang bisa ang pagkikilala, kasiyahan o ehersisyo ng kababaihan, anuman ang kanilang katayuan sa pag-aasawa batay sa pagkakapantay-pantay ng kalalakihan at kababaihan ng mga karapatang pantao, at mga pangunahing kalayaan sa politika, ekonomiya, panlipunan, kultura, sibil o anumang iba pang larangan. Kabilang dito ang anumang pagkilos o pagkukulang, kabilang ang ayon sa batas, patakaran, administratibong panukala o kasanayan na direkto o hindi direktang nagbubukod o naghihigpit sa kababaihan sa pagkikilala at pagtataguyod ng mga kanilang mga karapatan. And next, yung marginalization. Ito ay tumutukoy sa isang kondisyon kung saan ang isang buong kategorya ng mga tao ay hindi kasama sa kapaki-pakinabang at makabuluhang pakikilahok sa buhay pampolitika, ekonomiko, panlipunan at kultural. Lastly is marginalized. Ito ay tumutukoy sa pangunahing mahirap o mahinang tao o grupo na karamihan ay nabubuhay sa kahirapan at kakaunti o walang akses sa lupa at iba pang mapagkukunan, mga pangunahing serbisyong panlipunan at pang-ekonomiya. Tulad dito ng mga pangangalaga sa kalusugan, edukasyon, tubig at kalinisan, at trabaho. at kabuhayan, oportunidad, pabahay, panlipunang seguridad, pisikal na infrastruktura at sistema ng hustisya. So, Section 5 is the state as the primary duty bearer. Dito dapat gampanin ng Estado ang mga tungkuling ito sa pamamagitan ng batas, patakaran, mga instrumentong pangregulasyon, mga alituntuning pang-administratibo, at iba pang nang-aangkop ng mga hakbang kabilang ang pansamantalang mga espesyal na hakbang. Section 6. Duties of the state agencies and instrumentalities. Dito is tungkuling ito ng Estado ay dapat umabot sa lahat ng mga ahensya ng Estado, mga opisina at instrumentalidad sa lahat ng antas at mga korporasyong pag-aari at kinokontrol ng pamahalaan na naipapailalim sa konstitusyon at mga kaugnay na batas, patakaran o mga alituntuning pang-administratibo na tumutukoy sa mga tiyak na tungkulin ng mga ahensya ng Estado at kinauukulang entidad. Section 7 or Suppletory Effect. Ang kabanatang ito ay dapat ituring na isinama sa at maging pandagdag sa iba pang mga probisyon ng batas na ito, lalo na yaong naggagarantiya ng mga partikular na karapatan sa kababaihan at tumutukoy sa mga partikular na tungkulin at nangangailangan ng tiyak na pag-uugali ng mga organong ng Estado. Chapter 4 or Rights and Empowerment. So, Section 8, Human Rights of Women. Dito naman is dapat ang lahat ng karapatan sa konstitusyon at yaong mga karapatang kinikilala sa ilalim ng mga pandaigdigang instrumento na nararapat na nilagdaan at pinagtibay ng Pilipinas, alinsunod sa batas ng Pilipinas, ay ang dapat na karapatan ng babae sa ilalim ng batas na ito upang tamasahin na walang diskriminasyon. So, Section 9 is Protection from Violence. Dito is dapat tiyakin ng Estado na ang lahat ng kababaihan ay dapat protektahan mula sa lahat ng uri ng karahasan gaya ng itinatadhana para sa mga umiiral na batas. Ang mga ahensya ng pamahalaan ay dapat magbigay ng prioridad at pagtatanggol at proteksyon ng mga kababaihan laban sa mga pagkakasala at nakabatay sa kasarian at tulungan ang kababaihan na makamit ang katarungan at kagalingan. So, Section 10 is women affected by disasters, calamities, and other. Dito naman is crisis situations, which is ang mga kababaihan ay may karapatan sa proteksyon at seguridad sa panahon ng mga sakuna, kalamidad at iba pang mga sitwasyon ng krisis, lalo na sa lahat ng yugto ng tulong, pagbawi, rehabilitasyon at pagsisikap sa pagtatayo.
Section 11. Participating and Representation. The state shall undertake temporary special measures to accelerate the participation and equitable representation of women in all spheres of society. Section 12. Equal treatment before the law. The state shall take steps to review and, when necessary, amend and/or repeal existing laws that are discriminatory to women within 3 years from the effectivity of this act. Section 13. Equal access and elimination of discrimination in education, scholarship, and training. The state shall ensure that gender stereotypes and images in educational materials and curricula are adequately and appropriately revised. Enrollment of women in non-traditional skills training in vocational and tertiary levels shall be encouraged. Expulsion and non-readmission of women faculty due to pregnancy outside of marriage shall be outlawed. Section 14. Women in sports. The state shall develop, establish, and strengthen programs for the participating of women and girl children in competitive and non-competitive sports. Section 15. Women in the military. The state shall pursue appropriate measures to eliminate discrimination of women in the military police. Section 16. Non-discriminatory and non-derogatory portrayal of women in media and film. The state shall formulate policies and programs for the advancement of women in collaboration with government and non-government media-related organizations. Section 17. Women's right to health. Comprehensive health services. The state shall at all times provide for a comprehensive, culture-sensitive and gender-responsive health services and programs covering all stages of women's life cycle. Section 18. Special leave benefit for women. A woman employee having rendered continuous aggregate employment service. Section 19. Equal rights in all matters relating to marriage and family relations. The state shall take all appropriate measures to eliminate discrimination against women in all matters relating to marriage and family relation, and shall ensure the same rights to enter into and leave marriages or common law relationships, the same rights to choose freely a spouse and to enter into marriage only with their free and full consent, the joint decision on the number and spacing of their children. Section 20. Food security and productive resources. The state recognizes the contribution of women to food production and shall ensure its sustainability and sufficiency with the active participation of women.
Section 21, Right to Housing. The state shall develop housing programs for women that are localized, simple, accessible with potable water and electricity, secure which viable employment opportunities and affordable participation. Section 22, Right to decent work. The state shall progressively realize and ensure decent works standards for women that involve the creation of job accessible quality. Section 23, Right to livelihood. Credit, capital, and technology. The state shall ensure that women are provided with the following: A. Equal access to formal source of credit and capital. B. Equal share to the produce of farm and aquatic resources. And C. Employment opportunities for returning women migrant workers taking into account their skill and qualification. Section 24. Right to education and training. The state shall ensure the following: women migrant workers have the opportunities to undergo skill training. B. Gender-sensitive training and seminar. And C. Equal opportunities in scholarship based on merit and fitness. Section 25. Right to representation and participation. The state shall ensure women participation in policy making or decision-making bodies in regional and international levels. Section 26. Right to information. access to information regarding policies on women, including program, project, and funding outlays that affect them shall be ensured. Section 27, Social Protection, Security System, or SSS, and the Philippine Health Insurance Corporation, or PhilHealth, shall support indigenous and community-based social protection schemes. Section 28, Recognition and Preservation of Cultural Identity and Integrity. The state shall recognize and represent the rights of Moro and indigenous women to participate, promote, protect, and preserve their own culture, tradition, and institution, and to consider these rights in the formulation and implementation of national policies and programs. Section 29, Peace and Development. The peace process shall be pursued with the following consideration. A. Increase the number of women participating in discussion. B. Ensure the development and inclusion of women welfare and concern.
Section 30. Women in Especially Difficult Circumstances, or WEDC. Victims of violence. This includes women who have experienced physical or sexual abuse. Exploitation. Women who have been victims of illegal recruitment, prostitution, or trafficking are also considered WEDC. Conflict and detention. Women affected by armed conflict or those who are currently detained fall under this category. Sexual abuse. The Act especially recognizes women who are victims or survivors of rape and incest. Section 31. Services and interventions. Services and interventions shall be provided with services and interventions as necessary, such as but not limited to the following. Number 1 is temporary and protective custody. This ensures a safe space for the woman, potentially away from the source of danger, while other support systems are established. Second is medical and dental services. These services address any immediate or ongoing physical health needs resulting from the trauma or situation the woman has faced. And for the mental health, we have psychological evaluation. This involves assessing the woman's mental state and identifying any specific needs for support, such as anxiety, depression, or PTSD. And second to the last is counseling. This can include individual or group therapy to help the woman process the trauma, develop coping mechanisms, and rebuild emotional well-being. Last is psychiatric evaluation, a more in-depth assessment by a psychiatrist who can diagnose any mental health conditions and recommend further treatment plans like medication or therapy. Section 32. Protect of girl children. The state shall pursue measures to eliminate all forms of discrimination. Girl children shall be protected from all forms of abuse and exploitation. Section 33. Protection of senior citizens. The state shall protect women senior citizens from neglect, abandonment, domestic violence, abuse, exploitation, and discrimination. Senior women can face unique challenges such as increased dependence on others, financial insecurity, or social isolation. This passage recognizes these vulnerabilities and aims to create a safety net that protects their well-being and dignity. Section 34. Women are entitled to the recognition and protection of their rights defined and guaranteed under this Act including the right to non-discrimination. It ensures the women are not discriminated against based on their gender. This applies to all areas of life, public and private. Section 35. Discrimination against women is prohibited. Public and private entities and individuals found to have committed discrimination against women shall be subject to the sanctions provided in Section 41. Discriminations against women is prohibited. It's a clear and direct message. It leaves no room for doubt that any form of discrimination based on gender is illegal. Section 36. Gender mainstreaming is a strategy for implementing the Magna Carta of Women. The National Commission on the Role of Filipino Women, or NCRFW, shall assess its gender mainstreaming program for consistency with the standard under this act. The NCRFW is acknowledging that gender mainstreaming is a crucial strategy for effectively implementing the MCW by integrating gender considerations throughout this process, and MCW's goals of achieving gender equality and women's empowerment can be better realized. Section 37. Gender Focal Point Officer, or GFPO, in Philippine embassies and consulates. The Philippine government recognizes the specific needs and challenges faced by Filipino women, especially those overseas. To address this concern, a designated officer, the Gender Focal Point Officer, or GFPO, plays a crucial role in Philippine embassies and consulates. Section 38. National Commission on the Role of Filipino Women, or NCRFW. The National Commission on the Role of Filipino Women is a Philippine government agency responsible for promoting gender equality and women's empowerment. It was established in 1975 through Presidential Decree No. 633, and its mandate was expanded by Republic Act No. 9710, also known as the Magna Carta of Women.
Sector 39, Commission on Human Rights. Ito yung mga commission na nagsasagawa ng mga investigasyon sa mga paglabag ng karapatang pantao laban sa mga marginalized at vulnerable na sektor ng lipunan na kinakasangkutan ng mga karapatan sibil at mga pampolitika. Section 40, Monitoring Progress and Implementation and Impact of this Act. Dito, pantay na karapatan sa lahat ng bagay na may kinalaman sa kasal at relasyon sa pamilya. Dapat tinitiyak ng Estado ang parehong mga karapatan ng kababaihan at kalalakihan na pumasok at umalis sa kasal, malayang pumili ng mapapangasawa, magpasaya sa bilang at espasyo ng kanilang mga anak, magtamasa ng mga personal na karapatan kabilang ang pagpili ng isang profesyon na pag-ari, pagkuha at pangasiwa ng kanilang ari-arian, at makuha ang baguhin o panatilihin ng kanilang nasyonalidad na nakasaad din dito ang kasal at kasal sa isang bata ay walang legal na epekto. Section 41, Penalties. Nang malaman ng CHR ang isang departamento, ahensya o instrumentalidad ng pamamahala, korporasyon, pag-aari at kontroladong pamamahala o unit ng lokal na pamamahala ay lumabag sa anumang probinsya ng batas na ito at sa mga tuntunin at regulasyon ng pagpapatupad nito. Ang mga parusa sa ilalim ng batas na administratibo, civil services o iba pang mga naangkop sa na batas ay irerekomenda ng Komisyon ng Serbisyong Civil Service at o Departamento na Panloob at Lokal na Pamamahala. Section 42, Incentives and Awards. Ay isang uri ng kabayaran ng batay sa pagtugon sa mga partikular na layunin sa pagganap. Ito yung mga binibigay ng isang kumpanya or isang tao na tumulong dun sa isang operasyon, katulad like na sa isang trabaho na naging successful sila. Section 43, Funding. General Appropriation Act o GAA. Ang taong mga kinakailangan sa pagpapatakbo ng mga ahensya ng pamahalaan. Section 44, Implementing Rules and Regulations, IRR. Ang lahat ng pinag-uutos ng tungkulin ng Philippine Constitution Commission upang mapadali ang pagpapatupad ng provision ng Republic Act 10667 o kilala bilang Philippines Constitution Act. Section 45, Severability Clause. Isang kontrata ay nagbibigay daan sa isang bahagi na manatiling bisa kahit na ang iba ay legal o hindi maipapatupad. Maaring tumukoy ang severability sa ilang mahalagang provision na dapat iwanan buo. Ang mga severability clause ay kadalasan naglalaman ng savings language at reformation language. Section 46, Repealing Clause. Lahat ng mga batas, direkto, kautusan, tuntunin at regulasyon at iba pa mga pagpapalabas o bahagi nito na hindi nakaayon sa batas na ito. Sa pamamagitan nito ay pinapawalang bisa o sinusugan at binago ng naayon. Section 47, Effectively Clause. As a general rule, ang mga batas ay nagkakaroon lamang ng inaasahang epekto at hindi dapat ilipat ng retroaktibo sa paraang mailalapat sa mga nakabinbing hindi pagkakaunawaan at kaso.